All right, we're back. Mastering Mitzvahs, episode 164. It is cold outside. It's officially December. I don't know where the last month or so went. But Dylan, you ready to do another?
I'm a little off balance because I sit there and you sit here. I'm a little off balance today, Mike.
This is the start of a new year. We're gonna flip-flop seats going into.
I don't know if this is my
2026.
good side. Like I need someone to tell me, is that my good side? Is this my good side?
Somebody message Dylan. Just say they're all his good sides, so he's not so worried. all
Oh,
right?
it'll make me feel so happy if you compliment me like that.
Yes.
I just want to be told I'm pretty.
You did your hair for this too.
I did not do my hair for this.
I know. I did mine. How's that sound? No.
You hear the silence.
Crickets.
Yeah.
And here they are, your hosts, Dylan Weissman and Mike Langston.
So we want to talk about something that is close to our heart, and it's last-minute planning. And when is too last minute? Too last minute.
Well, it starts with the fact that the trend of booking bar and bat mitzvahs 3 years in advance is all but gone.
But is it, or is it just what we're experiencing? Because I still talk to others in other parts of the country that are booking still 2 or 3 years out. I don't know what it is, but I know what we're seeing is much closer bookings, within the year.
I'd say within the year is at least 50% of who we're working with. And then outside of that, right now it's the end of 2025. The most forward we have is the end of 2028 in terms of bar and bat mitzvahs.
Yep.
Which used to be the norm. Like
Right.
I felt as though we were always 2.5 to 3 years out because that's when the synagogues gave their dates out.
Right.
Now, I think the evolution came with the rent-a-rabbi idea, where you no longer belong to a congregation. Instead, you have a rabbi who's going to come and teach you everything you need to know to achieve this milestone of bar or bat mitzvah. And because of that, it could be at any date as long as they're available.
That's actually a very interesting thought. I was blaming it on COVID, and actually the mindset that has been shifted since COVID. So that's a really good takeaway.
I think it's probably both.
Okay.
It's probably both. But I think the byproduct has been elevated stress levels for families who are planning really close to their date. And today's podcast purpose is to dissect what is reasonable in terms of time frame and what becomes a little bit more challenging and almost undoable.
So I think we have two parts. Let's take part one is when is too late or when is appropriate to be booking the essential items. And then the second piece is when is it too late to be getting into the nitty-gritty planning. Like we have parties that are as soon as this weekend that still haven't given us some answers. That is too late.
Okay.
But let's start with the first piece.
The booking process.
When do you book your venue? When do you book your entertainment, your photographer, your main vendors, the planners? Should it be 2-3 years out? Does it need to be 2 or 3 years out?
I think the most premium inventory of great entertainment and great photographers and great venues, it's limited. So they're going to go first, and if you're looking for that premium product or that very specific person or venue, then you got to hop on that as soon as you know.
Yes, I would agree.
That doesn't mean you can't get great talent later in the game, especially when you hire a company that's proven and battle tested with a deep roster. But if you're looking for that one person that's going to match up with your family or that one style that matches to your vibe, you got to do that as soon as possible. So that includes, from my perspective, photography, entertainment, and venue.
And I'll add to that planner if you are in love with the particular planner, their style, their personality, and or if you've worked with them before. Like if you worked with the planner once before and you know they're exceptional, a lot of planners only do one event in a day. If you want that same person, book them now. Doesn't mean you have to book every detail. You don't have to figure out every last nuance of what you're getting, but just, hey, can you hold this date for me, planner, please? Can you, DJ, can you please hold the date for me? Yeah, make it happen.
Yep. Now, what are things that can wait when it comes to booking the vendor?
I'm going to call them the nuances, but maybe that's not the best word, but all the elements that fall under their umbrella, like which photo booth, how many stages, which photography package, do I want an album or prints, or do I just want digital? All that can be figured out at a later date. But just knowing the person, you want that specific photographer, that should be sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like, hey, I know that I'm craving a exceptional dining experience, and I'm going to go to this 5-star restaurant. but I don't know what I'm ordering. I don't know what I'm wearing. I don't know how I'm getting there, but I know I'm going to this spot, so I'm going to go reserve my spot here.
Yes.
And all of the other things I'll figure out as it becomes relevant for me.
Okay, so we're saying book sooner than later for these things. 2 to 3 years out has been the norm. It's not quite the norm anymore, but if you want to skip the line, I guess you could say, and guarantee your place holder, then sooner than later, 2-3 years out.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with a year out.
Well, so let's talk about some of the stories that we have from just this year. We had gotten calls for bar and bat mitzvahs that are within 6 weeks of the first call to the actual date. And the short answer is they were great.
Yes.
The long answer is it was hard. It was hard for on both the planning side, the stress level that the family was receiving, by no other reason than they just had to do 18 months of planning or 3 years of planning in 6 weeks.
I actually just spoke with an event planner who we work with very often, and I was asking just questions. What's your typical rate? And let's just say it's X. She normally charges X to do her planning, full on planning. She said, but it depends. Sometimes people hire me last minute, and I have to cram all of my services into an 8-week time frame. I charge X plus, and I questioned. I said, but you're working with this person less. You're not dictating a year, dedicating a year of your time to this person. She said, yeah, but it's so much more stressful when I got to run around like a chicken without a head in an 8-week time slot.
Yeah,
so
it's
I found that really interesting.
I said at one point, I forget who I said it to, but like when you work with me, I'm going to dedicate 1,000 hours to you. Well, now the 1,000 hours is happening inside 8 weeks as opposed to 1,000 hours being spread out over a year. Mm-hmm. So that kind of gives you a perspective. Now, I will say that there are times where you can get some pretty great deals last minute.
True.
But there are rush order fees on certain things too. Print items, swag. These are things that you really don't want to wait till the last minute on because you're going to get rush orders.
Had it happen today, we're doing swag for an upcoming holiday party. The party is in 14 days, and we need 15 days production time to print this item plus shipping. It's not going to happen. So I'm begging the printer now to rush this, make it happen. And it's all because the client came to us too last minute.
Right. So that's the planning side. And I think it's a good rule of thumb that the more you wait, the more stressful it could be. But I think being open and honest with yourself and saying, hey, vendor X, my party's in this amount of time. Do you have the backbone and the stamina to help me get to this point? Mm-hmm. Do you have the infrastructure to get me to this point? And the answer is yes. You need to follow their lead on it so you can get there as opposed to making your own way, which is where we're going now with the planning side of it, which is the details. What package do I want? What grand entrance song do I need? What my montage looks like?
Before we get there, I just want to touch on one thing. What are the disadvantages to planning too early? Are there disadvantages?
Well, I think that your child changes. I think that their style changes. I'll give you a very personal experience. When we sent out invitations for my personal bar mitzvah in the summer leading up to it, and then I joined a new school in September, and my friend group changed in the 4 weeks that I was there. Not by a lot, but it changed. And now I had more friends from school than I had from my sporting clubs, and that changed the way that the kids interacted.
Yeah.
So the style changes. I would say that, maybe the interests change. Maybe your introvert becomes a little bit more extroverted. Maybe the interests that excite them change. The theming might change. So
I think it's important to dissect these things. What would be a disadvantage to planning or booking something too early? Because I think that's the fear is, why do I need to reserve a date or a venue or a DJ 2 or 3 years out? And what are the disadvantages? If things change, you might lose deposits. That's a reality. So there's this counterbalance game that you have to play of when is it too late and when is it appropriate, and your deposits are put in the right place.
It's a good point. I think that for my personality and the families that I enjoy working with, I like the ones who care enough to get it done with that 2-year lead time and then take the foot off the gas until they're inside 6 months.
Something I haven't heard in a long time, but I used to, is is there fear in a business or a venue going out of business? That was a fear. Like when Explosive first started, people say, if I give you a deposit now for 3 years from now, how do I know you're still going to be in business? And we always did our best to, hey, we're a growing business. We just acquired more team, et cetera, to make people comfortable. But I guess that would be a fear in leaving deposit so soon. So maybe book with confidence, brand loyalty, a brand that has proven itself.
Yeah, and I mean, you should ask those questions. What happens if you're no longer in business? Like, what happens then? And I mean, they're gonna, as long as you feel as though they're giving you an honest and real answer, then you can hang your hat on either, this is the person that I want to work with, the company I want to work with, or you're not the right fit for me, or maybe I got to wait a little bit longer.
Sure.
So in the detail side of things, because we talked about booking the vendor and booking the venue and booking the people, now about the details. So we actually just built this roadmap because of this topic of this podcast.
Yes.
Of when to do certain things when it comes to bar and bat mitzvah entertainment.
Yeah, so this roadmap, we'll call it, is a formula for success. It basically starts 90 days before the party, and then there's a 60-day marker, a 45-day marker, a 30-day marker, and then 2 weeks out.
So why 90 days?
3 months before the party is when we want you to have most of your prep in place. Like 90 days out, that's when you should have had your montage pictures gathered. Don't wait till 90 minutes before. That's crazy. We see people wait so last minute. But, you have 12 and a half years of photos that aren't going to change. Find them now, gather them, put them in a folder, and say, these are the pictures we want to use for the montage. Now, fast forward, we want to produce the montage about 30 days before the party, but those pictures, those baby photos aren't changing. Find them now. Why worry about that last minute? So that is one example, the montage. We could probably think of a dozen things that should be done 90 days out. Maybe even you're organizing your candle lighting. I mean, again, you know who the grandparents are, you know who the aunts, the uncles, the cousins are. There might be that hiccup that you build out a tentative candle lighting agenda, and then you find out that Aunt Susie can't make it. Okay, remove her from the poem, but at least have the nuts and bolts in place.
Yeah, do the heavy lifting early. I mean, I think you've said something that was really simple, but a lot of people forget about it, is simply, this stuff isn't changing. Like, your baby photo is your baby photo. I think that's really important. I also think that if you plan sooner than 90 days, you run the risk of having to do double the work. Inside 90 days, very few things that will affect the overall big portion of the celebration aren't changing. Mm-hmm. Your guest count is really close to being, finalized. You have it within a good margin of error. Like, what your overall budget is, and at this point, like, you can make some real decisions. Like, how many sweatshirts do I need to order for my guest count? And I have 3 months to do it.
Right.
Like, there's no print shop out there that wouldn't be able to fulfill that order at that point.
Right. And why? Why wait till last minute? Like, we often get logos very, very last minute. Like, boggles my mind how that's a thing. Shouldn't the logo be part of the branding of the entire celebration from the day that the invitations are sent out all the way through? So, so why wait to the month of or 2 weeks before to get final logos?
I think it wouldn't be real if we didn't say life is life, right?
Sure.
We're both parents, and it's always going to be ever changing. By doing the little bits beforehand, I mean, you probably tell your kids this with their homework. Like, why aren't you just getting this done now? You probably feel that procrastination because the more you have it, the more likely it is you're going to feel those pressures. So I think that when it comes to the nuts and bolts that you're talking about, 90 days is the wake-up call.
Yeah. There's a mentorship program that we're part of, and one of the lessons was called Eat the Frog, and it sounds so gross, but it was, wake up in the morning and do the thing that's the most gross, the least likely that you want to do. Just get it done. So once you eat that frog, you can move on to all the other tasks of the day. And I think that methodology makes sense in mitzvah planning or just event planning as a whole.
So the title of this was When is Too Late, or something along those lines, right? We haven't even landed on the title of it. So what are things that you're seeing in the planning process that should not happen inside 30 days? You are a month out, 4 weeks out. What should not happen? What should you not be worrying about?
Attire. Buy that clothes. Make sure it's seamstress to tailor, all done in advance. Shoes done in advance. As much of your candle lighting poems done in advance. The montage that we said. Figure out who's going up in the chair. Like from our perspective, our forms should be complete a month before the party. And there's, sometimes like we have a trivia form, that we're going to do. Again, those trivia questions aren't changing. Your son or daughter's favorite sport isn't going to change. So get that all done because this is homework. In fact, Jamie on our team often says to families, I'm going to assign you some homework to do tonight. Get this done and get it back to us. Get your homework done a month before. Because you said life happens. So those curveballs are going to come your way, and you don't want to be up the night before your party sweating these details.
The glaring one that comes into my mentality is this montage situation. Montages seem to be very, very important to a lot of families, and they're waiting so long for something to be so important. It's a bear to put together, and not only that, but now you have style changes and little errors that happen. I think that is a glaring one that'll be a good benchmark of what you shouldn't be doing this late in the game, is developing of things, fabricating of things. That could be montages, that could be swag, that could be the development of your timeline. Like the developing of something needs to happen well before 30 days. 30 days should be tightening the bolts of the thing we're building.
Yeah, actually, so what kind of come to my mind is what I'm going to say decisions. Like, should I have some games during cocktail hour? Which game do I want? Air hockey, ping pong, or foosball table? Why wait to 30 days before? Figure these things out before, because truly there's this downward spiral that happens when things are last minute. If you can't communicate, do I want a foosball table until 2 weeks before, it's possible that the entertainment company may not have it available, or they may not have the staff, or they have to rearrange the staff, or their trucking has been allocated based on what you booked, and now all of a sudden they have to change from a van to a box truck. And it's this spiral that goes out of whack with last minute. So it happens for a family for budget reasons. You know what your budget is. You should really be paying your bill like 30 days before the party.
I mean, I think that's important to understand, but I think the big takeaway from there is finalizing your package prior to 30 days is almost a non-negotiable. Like, just do that.
Yeah.
Right? You, at this point, know you need this many stages or this type of gaming or this type of lighting. Now, this is not to say that you can't call up and say, hey, I really want to add some up lighting because one reason or another.
Yeah, especially when you, let's say the items that are acceptable to make last minute changes is you attend a party within 2 or 3 weeks of yours and you saw something that was so epic and you really want to do that at yours. Don't be embarrassed to ask for it. Like, if you want it, ask for it. And you may not have known to ask for that 30 days out, 45 days out. But the things that the obvious items should be done sooner than later.
So,
I'm sorry, guest count change too. If all of a sudden you get your RSVP count and there's 30 more people, 40 more people that you weren't planning on, asking for another dancer, not a bad thing. Asking for more party favors or swag may not be a bad thing. But we could understand why that would be last minute.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it from the swag perspective, right? If you ordered it at 60 days, giving a 2-month lead time, adding another 15 sweatshirts is really not hard for that print shop. Adding 150 sweatshirts with that much time could be hard.
Yes.
Or it'll drive the price up. So here's my big tip or trick. Be in communication with your coordinators or your vendors often. A simple message, hey, it's Wednesday and I'm thinking about my event. What should I be doing right now? Even if it's just one line. Mm-hmm. Is there anything I should be worried about right now? Should I make any decisions right now? Just that constant contact will keep you sharp.
Yeah. In fact, a tip I'd like to share to piggyback that is to allocate one night a week that your family has a sit-down meeting, your vendors, your family, whoever, and allocate 30 minutes to like your checklist of things dedicated to the mitzvah. Because just like you have a schedule for soccer practice, baseball practice, dance, cheer, whatever it might be, have Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock is a family powwow for mitzvah planning.
I used to say have a pizza party with your mitzvah kid and their 3 friends and create the dance party playlist, like the request list. Like have a pizza party, make it a thing. Does it have to be every single week or once a week every single week? Maybe not. Maybe that's not right for your family. But as you get closer, it should be.
Sure,
it should be.
Right. Maybe it's every 2 weeks or every month until you get that 60-day window.
Yeah. It also brings you closer to the excitement as opposed to the stress. I've said it before on this podcast. On the other side of the stress and anxiety is bliss and excitement. And you can punch through pretty quickly by having these regular standing appointments of figuring things out like this. I know that I feel closer to the families who do that stuff. And when I feel closer to them, I feel as though I want more for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to give back a little bit more. You feel more in touch with it.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate reality that last minute is a part of the game. And in some cases, you're hiring a premium product to be able to do that, a premium service to be able to do that. But don't make it hard on yourself. Or at least that's my thinking on it.
I agree. I think we could kind of end the podcast there. Hope that everybody enjoyed this one. This is first one in a while, but we got many more to come and some big news that we're about to announce on our next episode.
Right here, it's going to be breaking news. Next episode, tune in or something like that.
I like it.
That's Mike. I'm Dylan. This has been Mastering Mitzvahs. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys real soon.